The crowd at JFK Airport buzzed with the usual chaos. Boarding calls, rolling suitcases, children crying. In the middle of it all stood Emily, a young single mom holding her sleepy 2-year-old son, Noah. Her arms were full, diaper bag, boarding passes, stroller. But Noah clutched the one thing that calmed him, a small, worn-out teddy bear with a hand-stitched red scarf. But as they shuffled through security, the bear slipped from Noah's tiny hands. By the time Emily noticed, they were already at the gate. "No, no, no," she whispered, panic rising as Noah began to cry. She searched the stroller, the floor, her bag, but the toy was gone. Noah's cries echoed louder, his little arms reaching for something that wasn't there. Emily felt helpless. She knew it was just a toy. But to Noah it was safety, it was home. She crouched down, trying to soothe him, but her own tears threatened to fall. "I'm so sorry, baby, we'll find it." Meanwhile, a man in a tailored suit, briefcase in hand, was rushing through the terminal. His name was Richard Hale, CEO of one of the largest companies in the country. He wasn't the kind of man who stopped for delays. Time, to him, was money. But something on the floor caught his eye. A tiny, battered teddy bear with a red scarf. He almost walked past, but then he noticed something stitched into the tag. Crooked letters, sewn by hand. "For Noah Love, Dad." Richard froze. His chest tightened. That handwriting, that name. 25 years ago, he had written those same words on a teddy bear he bought for his own son before tragedy tore their family apart. He hadn't seen his boy since. His mind spun. Could this little boy be his grandson? Richard scanned the terminal, then he heard it. A child's wailing. He followed the sound until he saw her, a young woman trying desperately to comfort a crying toddler. The bear in his hand suddenly felt heavier than gold. He stepped forward, his usually commanding voice surprisingly soft. "Excuse me, is this yours?" Emily looked up, startled. When she saw the bear, her eyes widened with relief. She clutched it like treasure before giving it back to Noah, whose cries quieted instantly as he hugged it tight. "Oh my God, thank you," she breathed. "You have no idea how much this means." Richard smiled faintly, but his eyes stayed fixed on the toy. "I might. Actually, that tagget looks familiar." Emily glanced at him warily. It was made by his father. He passed away before Noah was born. It's the only gift Noah will ever have from him. Richard's throat tightened. He hesitated, then asked, almost in a whisper, "What was his name?" "Daniel." She replied softly, "Daniel Hale." The world seemed to stop. Emily noticed the color drain from the man's face. "Wait, do you know him?" Richard's voice cracked. "I'm his father." Emily blinked, speechless. Richard's eyes brimmed with tears he hadn't shed in decades. He had lost touch with his son after a bitter fallout, and when Daniel died young, Richard thought he'd lost everything, any chance of making things right. And now, standing in an airport, holding the toy he once bought, he realized life had just handed him a second chance. Emily's shock softened into compassion. She saw not a CEO, not a powerful man, but a grieving father who carried regret. Noah tugged at the teddy bear, then, without hesitation, stretched his little arms toward Richard. For a moment, Richard couldn't move, but when the boy leaned closer, he carefully lifted him into his arms. The child's small hands patted his face, as if to say, "It's okay." Richard broke down, tears streaming, not from weakness, but from healing. The gate agent called final boarding, but Emily didn't rush. Something bigger was happening here than catching a flight. Richard finally spoke, his voice raw but steady. "I thought I'd lost my family forever, but if you'll let me, I'd like to be in his life, to be in both your lives." Emily studied him. She had been carrying the weight of raising Noah alone. She saw sincerity in his trembling hands, in the way he looked at the child as if he were the most precious thing on earth. After a long pause, she nodded. "Maybe we can start with coffee." As they walked together toward the cafe, Noah giggled, clutching his teddy bear tight. And in that crowded airport, amid strangers rushing past, something extraordinary had taken place. A family once broken was finding its way back together. Narrator's closing line, "Sometimes life writes stories we could never plan." A lost toy became a bridge between generations. And in a world where everyone is rushing, one small act of kindness slowed time just enough for love to find its way home again.